Hola, mi novias. Welcome to this week's podcast, Casa the Novias, Unscripted. I am your host, Aubriana Martinez. On this week's episode, we'll be talking about how the roles of being a bridesmaid or a bride aren't what they meant to be out to be. So I never got the opportunity to be a bridesmaid nor a bride. I've had friends and loved ones become bridesmaids or brides. Based on what I've been told, being a bridesmaid isn't all that fun. It really isn't. The most important job of being a part of the bridal party is being the maid of honor. Now, whoever is going to be the maid of honor has to uphold a lot more responsibilities than everyone else in the bridal party. And what I mean by that is that the maid of honor has to be there for the bride almost 24/7. And what I mean by that is you have to be there for her physically and mentally, because you don't know what she's going through. You don't know what she's feeling, or if she's thinking of either postponing the wedding or just canceling the wedding in general, and feeling really nervous of walking down the aisle and second guessing themselves. And that's something that you don't want the bride to do. Like, you want to make sure that you're there for them and you want to understand what they're going through, and just talking with them, because just talking with them, it's gonna help the situation a lot more, because you don't want the bride going into the wedding all nervous and shaking and really nervous, and you don't want a shaky bride, because then that's gonna affect the entire wedding, and people are gonna feel the bride's energy when she walks down that aisle. Like, you don't want to see her like kind of giving people a half smile or looking down when she's walking down the aisle. You want to make sure that she's happy, she's beaming, she's glowing. You don't want a bride to really give off that really negative, weird energy during the wedding, because people are going to pick it up really fast, and that's when the wedding's going to go down from there, and it's not going to be pretty for either party. Being a bride isn't all that easy either. You have to plan your wedding. You have to select the date that you want to get married. You have to select the people who are going to be in your bridal party. You got to put in appointments for your dress, the flowers, the cake, the catering. You have to do almost everything. But again, being a bride, you don't want to do it alone. You want to have those who are really close to you help you plan it out, so you're not constantly stressed, overthinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know if I can do this. I think I'm going to have a panic attack or anything like that. Like, you want to have people there with you. Have your mom, have your aunt, have your sister, have your cousin from your mother's side or something. Someone to be there with you when it comes down to planning your wedding. Yeah, your beloved that you're going to be spending the rest of your life with may be there for you, but they're not going to understand you as a woman, because we as women have been planning this wedding since we were children, and we're understanding the fulfillment of having a wedding that we would see on TV or in the movies. We want that big wedding that's going to be constantly perfect, and you want to feel like the princess you are during that day. But again, being a bride isn't all that magical. It's not. You are constantly stressed out. You want to make sure that everything is perfect the day of, and you're constantly stressing of what could possibly go wrong, when you're not focusing on what's going to be waiting for you at the end of the aisle, which is going to be the partner that you're going to be spending the rest of your life with, and growing a family, growing a future. You want to be focusing on that. You don't want to be focusing on anything else but that. And I know my parents never really got that wedding where my mom would put on $1,000 dress and have all of her friends and all of her family be there for her on her wedding day. But she couldn't really afford anything like that, so her and my dad got a couple of witnesses and went down to the courthouse, and they got married, which is completely fine. I don't have anything against people getting married in a courthouse. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they could afford at the time, and they saved up for the honeymoon, which is completely understandable too. There are couples out there in the world that don't want to spend thousands of dollars on one big day. which is understandable. That money can go towards flying across the world, going to Bora Bora, going to Paris, going to Japan. Go somewhere with your significant other and make memories. That I can understand. I know there's those who can't afford the big wedding and go on the most luxurious honeymoon ever. I understand that too. That's where the money ends up being, and you want to spend it on those things, which is completely fine. Everyone's wedding is different. Not everybody's gonna have that dream of having the 6 long train of a dress that you're gonna be expecting to walk down the aisle with. It's fine. Some people want to keep it simple. They want to have something that they can get off the rack at JCPenney or Macy's and go down to the courthouse, which is completely fine. Not everybody is going to have the same vision. It's completely okay. And that's what most people need to start accepting, that not everything needs to be perfect, extravagant, or even expensive. That money can be put towards something else. Maybe a payment for a house that you and your significant other have been eyeing and you really want to buy it. That money can be used for that. It's completely fine. So women need to start prioritizing their feelings on what they want and not what they want for others, if that makes sense. Because you don't want to be focusing on someone else's dream of a wedding and put in your input of what they should have as a wedding. Like, you don't want to do that for them, because that's not right, because it's not your day. It's their day. Whatever they want, it's what they want. You can't really influence them to change their mind, because it is what they already decided to do for their big day. I know personally I want a really big wedding when it comes to that time where I meet my significant other, and I want to be able to have that big wedding and be happy and be able to just be happy that I'm going to be spending the rest of the life with my significant other that's waiting for me at the end of the aisle. I know my parents want that for me and my brother and my little sister when it comes down to that time when they do reach that age of maturity and they find that special someone in their life to spend the rest of their life with. This is going to be the end of this week's podcast. This episode of Unscripted is brought to you by Ms. and Mrs. Box, award-winning bridal subscription box filled with wedding planning must-haves and everything you need to plan your perfect wedding day. Enter promo code Unscripted Novia and get 50% off your first box. Again, the promo code is Unscripted Novia and get 50% off your first box. I want you guys to check us out on our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and here on YouTube at Casa de Novias Lucy G. This is going to be the end of this week's podcast. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Adios, mi novias.